stand, and that person said something that they believe was kind of groundbreaking. However, who knows if the jury will believe it? So we're going to recap that real quick, and then we're going to get into today, which is probably going to be closing arguments on both sides. Uh, this could take the entire day. I would imagine, at least for the prosecutor, they would probably finish up at lunch, and possibly before the end of the day, that's when the defense would finish up with their closing statements. Now, you're going to find out a bunch of things. Like, for example, I realized that the jury here, it's been decided that the jury has been sequestered. Let me just put the trial on right now. By the way, if you're wondering why I got this on, I don't know, man. Them scallywags at Drake concert, man, them bitches gave me COVID or some shit. I don't know what the fuck, man. Woke up today. You know, it's summertime today. I feel like I am fucking freezing. So I just got like a blanket on. And I turned the heat on, whatever, right? Yes. So, by the way, I think what's happening now, okay, all right. I think what's happening now is that the judge is reading some instructions to the jury, or maybe something of the sort like that. Well, we're going to tap in a second. I just want to give you the real quick recap. So, basically, here's how quickly shit's going to move. We could possibly have a verdict by today or tomorrow. I don't see this going past Monday or latest Tuesday. That's if the jury are really deliberating, and maybe maybe they're torn a bit. But I think we're going to get a verdict very soon. Now, I learned some shit too, so I'm trying to help educate y'all. Apparently, they sequestered the jury, which means once they go into deliberations, the jury will not be allowed to go back to their regular house. They will be put up in a hotel until they come to a verdict. Why? Because once the deliberation process starts, they don't want anyone outside of this courtroom or this trial process to influence a juror, to try to bribe a juror, any of the sort. So essentially, after today, the jury will not be allowed to go home until they give a verdict, which you could also think about it like this. Now the jury is going to try to, first of all, they're going to probably miss the weekend, right? So they're going to come to, I would believe, a verdict very expeditiously, especially if, at least in their mind, it's cut and dry. We don't know where they're leaning. Anyway, let me give the quick recap of yesterday. Actually, it wasn't yesterday because yesterday court wasn't on. This would be of Tuesday. So let me show what really happened. So, okay. Here's the big thing that happened, right? Let me see if I can bring this up. Okay, cool. So essentially, the only person, and by the way, the first thing I should show you is that Melly has declined the ability to testify. By the way, you know, just like Tory Lanez declined to testify, Melly will not take the stand. I think this is the right decision. I know Tory's having a little bit of buyer's remorse because he didn't take the stand, but now people are like, well, if you didn't shoot her, why didn't you take the stand? Listen, this is a complicated legal process, and the prosecutor, if anybody they want on the stand is the actual person they feel is a suspect, that they can sink their teeth in to make their point. You want to protect your client, who probably isn't that eloquent, who probably could say something to trip you up or trip up the defense you've given thus far. You want the prosecutor to prove you're guilty, not your client to fuck up and then allow a guilty verdict to be seen. So the judge asked Melly, and this is what happened.
Defendant, and I guess Mr. Demmons, I need to talk to you, ask you a few questions. All right? You heard what your attorney said. He said he's resting. No further witnesses. Do you hear that?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, I don't know what discussion you had with your attorneys. You've got competent lawyers there. I mean, you've seen them perform here. You've discussed things with them, I assume, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you have a right to testify, and you also have a right not to testify. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if you do testify, I'm going to instruct the jury that they have to consider your testimony as they would any other witness. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't testify, I'm going to instruct the jury that you have a right not to testify, and they can't consider that, hold that against you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So my question, I guess, is did you have enough time to talk about this issue about you testifying or not testifying? Did you have enough time to discuss that with your attorneys?
Yes, sir.
Did they answer all your questions?
Yes, sir.
And what is your decision?
I will not be testifying.
You will not be testifying.
No, sir.
Is anyone forcing you or coercing you to make this decision?
No, sir.
Anybody make any promises or on the contrary, make any threats to get you not to testify?
No, sir.
This is your free and voluntary decision.
Yes, sir.
So let me go further. You heard your attorney said he rests, he's not going to call any other witness. That includes you, but no other witnesses. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other witnesses that you wanted your attorneys to call and present to the jury?
No, sir.
Any other evidence that you wanted your attorneys to present to this jury?
No, sir.
You good? You satisfied with their performance?
Yes, sir.
All right. And
He has a nice smile. Pause. Is that gay?
everything that you wanted the jury to hear and listen to is before the jury. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me ask, State, are you going to call any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
By the way, I can imagine Melly's team has discussed this. This is just a formality that it could be put on the record that he understands that. By the way, there was only one witness that the defense called. I'm about to play that person's testimony, but they just have to put it on the record that he's okay with the performance of his lawyers, because what usually happens if a nigga loses the case, they start blaming the lawyer. You get what I mean? I'm going to show you the person that they put on the stand, which is this guy. They said this is YNW Melly's best friend, okay? He's the only person the defense called, and he gave some valuable insight, and also he stood up to cross-examination. So let's play this real quick, and then we're going to get right into closing statements. Again, by the way, we are expecting the jury to get this case probably around 3 p.m., maybe 2 p.m., and if that's the case, I don't think there will be a verdict today. However, there might be a verdict. I'm not sure if they're going to just say come back on Monday. I would probably think not, because since they're sequestering the jury can't go back home. So they got to stay in a hotel. So, of course, they would want to come in on Friday and try to figure this shit out. So, let's see.
Were affirmed the testimony that you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
You state you're fully